A quick note on drawing your faucet here. So I'm going to break this demo up into a few videos so that they will load better. You can freehand portions of your faucet, but here I have an example of a ship's curve, which I tend to favor. You could get a set of curves from any supply store, office supply store that would do the job. Basically, it's really nice to have a curve tool like this to create a lot of the clean lines. Since we are doing a product style render, we don't just freehand necessarily everything. I mean, we could, but I really prefer when I'm doing this type of work to have the tools of the trade. Now, we're not doing drafting per se, but these tools, if you have taken any kind of drafting, will look kind of familiar. Bezier curves, for example, are conform to what you see here in Illustrator, for example. But the other thing I have are these ellipse guides. And so this is a 30-degree guide, and you can see they have a center axis, which I use to line up my ellipses. And you can see I'm pretty close. I'm going to say close enough. I'm going to go a little first ellipse, and then I'm going to go to a smaller one for the next. Now, typically what I would do is I would actually draw this center line if I was sketching this out. I've already got it in place. I'll make that just a bit stronger. That is the axis, the center point of this entire tube going up. And I don't try to draw a straight line freehand. It's slower and it's never quite as good. So any tool I can use to my advantage, I'm going to use. And basically, you know, in perspective, this perspective as it drops downward, these ellipses would open up. And so you would naturally, if it went far enough, you would want to start switching to a more open, like a 35, a more open ellipse. If it goes high this way, it's going to close. And you're going to get a more closed ellipse because you're looking edge on. Just something to keep track of. In fact, if I put this ellipse here, it's still a bit too shallow. Maybe not. I can actually use this for the very top ellipse here. And I can freehand the little end points. As I say, we're not specifically drafting, so we're not going for perfect accuracy. These are just tools to speed up the drawing. Now, on this piece, I'll often freehand this, but you know what? If I can find a curve that matches, I'm going to use it. So I'll just kind of guide you quickly through this drawing. My goal here is just to lay out a clean drawing, and the first thing I do is outside edges and then inside edges. Inside being something like this. That demarks two different pieces. About the same weight of pressure on my pencil line. You notice I have not indicated any reflections yet. I really like to finish with structure first. And then I'm going to go to reflections. And just a couple more things on the outside edge. Here, you know what, I'm going to freehand that just for speed. And then we're done with that phase. So phase two, I could probably freehand this. These are reflections. That's a major reflection. And you know, if I don't like a line, like I don't like the way that went up because it's not tracking, I just fix it. On this shape, because it's bigger, it might bow out a bit more like that and curve. Just so if you imagine that chrome shape, a little curvature at the end to show that this isn't just that. Shape comes in again. In the photo, it actually did something like that. Here it is coming back, because this is a tube, a cylinder curving in space. And then I might put a line like that to indicate, and even a little bit of tone to say that's going to be my dark reflection. Top reflection, again, just kind of lightly draw these in. You notice these lines are lighter in weight. They don't have the same heaviness, and there's a reason for that. I don't really like to have them look like they're a shape. I mean, an actual edge to a shape, but rather a reflection. So I tend to draw my reflections lighter. A little bit of tone. So I'm kind of just testing out ideas here. I could put a reflection across the top of here, even a reflection coming through like that or like that. So I'm kind of playing around with ideas there. So if you look, there in a nutshell is my faucet drawn up. We're not going to bother with a cast shadow on this one. So I'm going to leave that right there. Call that demo 1.